The following content contains personal experiences of our hosts and guests. We are not experts in this matter. We encourage challenging conversations with others and to achieve healing from our childhood. We hope to connect and allow a safe space to have an open discussion. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a qualified professional, diagnosis, or treatment.
Payat, skinny. I wrote that
Yes.
down. Yeah, that's
And then taba,
yes.
fat.
Yep.
Tangos, and
The pointy nose, man. That was,
yeah.
I did it for a little bit, and then after a while, I'm like, why am I doing this?
I did it too, and it hurt.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
And I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me,
Yeah. I mean, the one thing, like, my parents, like, I'm pretty light skinned because my mom and my dad are pretty light skinned. So they're always like, oh, yeah, like, you've already got it. So, like, we would go camping every summer or be by the lake or whatever. And, like, they were just so afraid that I would get so dark. I mean, I was slathering on sunscreen and all that stuff. And they're just like, come over here in the shade. I'm like, no, how am I supposed to be in the water in the lake if I'm going to be in the shade?
Right.
Like,
How am I supposed to have fun?
yeah. So
hide
it
under
really
a tree?
sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really sucked.
Yeah, no.
But
yeah, it's like, I just want to have fun.
You got to be skinny, white, and with a pointy nose.
Pointy nose, yep. Western beauty standards. There it is.
Yep.
Welcome back, listeners, viewers, friends, to another episode of First Generation Podcast. Here we are. I'm one of your hosts, Tiffany Christie, along with
Nina Rachel Flores.
And we are here to talk about beauty standards within our culture and what we've observed. I'm so scatterbrained today. I'm so sorry.
But maybe it's because you're dehydrated and thirsty, so you just need to have a drink. I'm having the Sanzo lychee sparkling water, which is so good and refreshing.
Yes. Our friends over at Sanzo, happy Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Yeah. Hello.
Happy. We're in May. And our friends over at Sanzo got us a little beverage for us to
Thank you.
Keep us hydrated because summer's coming.
Summer's coming. It's getting warm.
It's getting
I love
warm
it
out there. Yeah. So refreshing. I got the pomelo sparkling grapefruit.
Awesome. Well, cheers to the weekend.
Cheers to that. Cheersies. Clink, clink, clink. Well, that's good. It's refreshing. It's got a lot of Asian inspired flavors for their sparkling water. Yeah. It doesn't have a weird aftertaste as some other sparkling waters I've had before. So quite refreshing. It's perfect for a summer drink. You could add, your favorite adult concoction to it if you want.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, no, it's a good mixer.
All right. Love it.
Good old Sanzo. So yeah, we're here to talk about beauty standards, and definitely as girls, as women, as female growing up, it hits very close to home. And I definitely wanted us to, Nina and I, to talk about our similar and different experiences growing up with that, because for sure, let's talk about it. Let's talk about these beauty standards that seem very still prevalent to this day, which is quite unfortunate.
So whenever you walk into a Filipino party, first thing you see is a table full of food, like more food than you can imagine. And so my issue growing up was like my weight, and my weight fluctuated all the time because it was like, you're too skinny, you're not eating enough, there's all this food, you have to eat it. And then when you do gain some weight, it's like, oh, you're so fat. What happened? And
Yeah.
it's like, you kept telling me to eat. So that's like something I still struggle with to this day. And as you know, Tiffany, like my weight has gone up and down, and I feel like I'm at a weight that I like. I'm 150 pounds. I lift weights. I can lift heavy. It's all about like strength and just being healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
Yeah, and not like fitting into like a mold. But my mom thinks I'm fat. She keeps asking me when I'm gonna lose weight. Look, I'm not skinny. I got a little love handles, whatever. But to me, it's like all about like, hey, if you're healthy and happy, that should be
That
that
should
should be acceptable, you know?
that should be it. That just
That
should
should be
be
it.
what matters, right? Like
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
appearances that have been instilled on us. And it's not even, yes, there's the cultural aspect, I know in Western society there's this ideals of what
Mm-hmm.
what beauty is, kind of what everyone wants to look like. And I know there's also a movement now where I think there's different ads and models that fit different body types now, which is so great to see. Like they're
Totally.
incorporating it into a lot of different beauty companies and whatnot. So there is a movement there. But for us growing up, or at least talking about my experience, for Filipinos, I I do recall. So like there's the standard of like we can't get so dark, you know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
the darkness and the pigment of my skin. Anytime like we would go out or go swimming, you know, we would like our parents would be like, oh, don't forget the sunscreen, which is, yes, please do. You got to protect yourself from the sun, get that SPF. That
Right.
is all great. But their actual reasoning was not because of making sure you don't get skin cancer and
Mm-hmm.
mess up your actual skin. It's really the portrayal of what you look like. They,
Yeah.
in a lot of other countries too, it's like the more fair skin you have, the more beautiful, the more glamorous, the more appealing you are. The
Yeah.
lighter the skin is, the better, And
Right.
so them reminding my sister and I to like, oh, put on sunscreen. It wasn't to protect us from the sun. That's a bonus. It was like, oh, we don't want you to look dark.
Yeah, because it's a social class thing. So the lighter your skin, the wealthier apparently you're supposed to appear. And I think that's also in like other cultures as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, for Filipinos, it's like the bleaching soap and all this stuff. It's kind of sad
Yeah.
actually.
It's yeah. Like you said, it's just not the Philippines. It's like it's very common in a lot of Asian cultures
Yeah,
too. Light skin is very considered the ideal beauty. Like just
right.
even look at their entertainment. Look at their entertainment. You kind of see it. You're like, are they mestizo? Because they're like a
Yeah.
blend of Filipino and probably white. They're very fair and light skin. You know,
Hmm.
South Korea has the same thing. India, like watch watch their rom-coms or their TV series. It, you could tell this is
Hmm.
across the board. There's like whitening and brightening soaps, they call it, just to promote like fair skin is beautiful. And if you're too dark, you are considered like a lower class. That is unfortunate. It's been like that for centuries, you
Yeah.
know? It's been like
Hmm.
that for centuries. This isn't new news. But I think more and more, people are talking about it, or just getting becoming aware. And another thing, this might just be Filipino culture. I don't know about you, Nina, but like for us growing up, even our appearance of our face, sometimes we got made fun of, or I think I wasn't personally made fun of about this, but I think it's just like a type of stereotype with Filipinos' noses. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I do recall some close family members, we would pinch our nose to like make it
Yes. Oh,
pointier because like Filipinos would have,
the big flat
flatter
nose. Yeah.
noses. And so the ideal of like, oh, you're beautiful if you have this, pointy, long nose, like, I was like, wow, we're here trying to like either put like a clothespin on our nose to make it like pinch it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Felt like my mom was like, oh yeah, do that so you could look beautiful or
It was
whatever.
the
And I'm
same.
like,
It was
you
the same.
know?
There's a term it's called tangos ilong,
Yes,
meaning
yes.
it's like pointy. My mom used to do that to me too. And I was like, why the hell am I pinching my nose? This
Yeah,
hurts. But yeah, that was like a beauty, like an ideal beauty thing when we were growing up too. It's like the pointer your nose, the more attractive, the lighter your skin. And yeah, it's just it's sad to me because I kept when I was growing up, I felt like I was never attractive, and then my mom wanted me to be part of like beauty pageants and modeling and things, and it's like then there's that standard that I had to fit too. Um and so it's a lot of pressure. Um and as women, I mean, this was also with my brother. So like it happened with guys too, like about his nose and he had to be tall or whatever. And so yeah, I just think it's the added pressure of, you have to be smart, you have to look a certain way, like you got to be like the whole package. That's
right.
a lot of that's a lot of shit for like a 10-year-old child,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for a kid
yeah.
to take that on. Yeah, like even just the way we would dress, there is everything was just very like this is how you're gonna look. You need to be presentable, you
No
know.
tattoos, no piercings.
Oh yeah, talk about that. Yeah, I clearly
Oh,
broke a lot of those
yeah.
rules into my adulthood. And who knows, maybe it's because of these like restrictions they gave me as a young person. Was like you can't look this certain way. I was totally against the grain growing up. I don't like dresses. Sure, there's times I want to look, fancy and I'll put on something nice. But I do remember my mom dressing me like providing clothes like this is what you're gonna wear. Or especially like
Hmm.
for church, here's your Sunday clothes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like thankfully or luckily, sometimes it's always the opposite. The grass is always greener, but like going to a private school, we did have uniforms. So it's like I didn't
Hmm.
have a
Same.
lot to choose in the morning, like, oh, what am I gonna wear? But like when it comes to the weekend, um, or going to church, because for Sundays, it's like, oh, this is what my mom wants me to wear. I'm gonna wear this. And so for a long time, that's what I did. Uh, and couldn't really express myself because this is uniform that we had to wear exactly the same thing. It has to be a certain length for the skirt or
Hmm.
you know, so many rules. And then now in adulthood or like getting into college, like, whew, everything's off, changing the narrative here.
Yeah.
Um, kind of got chaotic. It changed my hair color. Like that was totally, a thing my mom was against. So I felt like I went through this rebellious stage. I mean, I feel like still to this day, but yeah, I do have tattoos.
I have none, but I got my belly button pierced and my nose pierced when I was like younger. So,
Yeah, what did they say?
oh my gosh,
How'd your
my
mom
mom
react?
like she freaked the frick out. Yeah, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you look like a prostitute now." And I'm like, "Really?" So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It was like you have to like just look very, very average and normal. Like you couldn't express yourself. So no tattoos, no piercings. There was a point where she let me wear makeup. That's why I have eyelash extensions. I've had eyelash extensions for as long as I can remember because she's like, yeah, you like need to look pretty. And, with like Filipino eyes, like you don't really have like eyelashes, right? So it's like, That was like the one thing she wanted me to have. And then like, yeah, not like a lot of makeup, but she let me wear makeup and she recommended it. I don't know about you, if your mom let you guys
I
wear makeup or
I'm trying to remember in high school, like the only times I wore makeup was for like a dance or some social event where
mm.
you do need to doll up and dress up.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
I didn't naturally like not every day to school. I didn't have to like put eyeliner on. All that was like again when I got into college. So I was pretty much no makeup high school
Yeah.
unless there was a special occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about eyelashes. You just reminded me of I think this is what my parents did, but I don't know if they did the same to you where they cut your eyelashes when you're little to
They
promote
didn't
it to grow.
they didn't do it to me. They did it to Mark. But
What is
by the
that?
way, that's not true at all. Like that's very dangerous
It's
parenting.
scary. I'm like, you're gonna risk your child's eyes by
Oh,
making their eyelashes longer by snipping them
yeah.
at a young age.
Yeah.
Like what? I don't know.
That is so weird.
That was so weird to hear
Yeah.
that.
I'm really glad that they didn't do that to me. They did it to Mark though.
Wow. I wonder what stopped her for you then.
I don't know, but I dodged a bullet.
Yeah. You
I could have gotten blind or something.
scary. And yeah, I was like, is
Oh my
Mark's
gosh.
eyelashes great?
Nope.
Flaunting those beautiful lashes.
Oh man. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, when you said eyelashes, I was like, oh yeah. Nope, that I remember that was a thing growing up. But yeah, Western beauty standards and ideals uh still to this day. I say this to this day because recently got into motherhood. So talk about standards and how I'm presented after, birthing my child 3 years
Hmm.
ago. I still got that guilt and shame from my mom because she could see like I still had the extra weight and poundage. And mind you, you know, it does take a woman's body to kind of go back to its original state in like 2 years. So she was already
Yep.
telling me she got me like this little waist
Oh, like
compressor.
a girdle
Oh
thing?
yeah, like a
Yeah.
basically a belt to like strap onto me to like suck in my extra
Oh.
my extra, you know, baby fat essentially. And this was like not even 2 or 3 months after I gave birth, and
Oh,
already she's like, here I am just trying to survive and just be a mom for this young child. But she's
right.
like, she handed it to me. She's like, you need to wear this. And then I got so offended. I was like, really, this is what you're worrying about right now is how I look, you
Hmm.
know?
Oh.
And that destroyed me for a second.
Hmm.
But we did have a chat afterwards and, because I kind of snapped at her at that moment. But I did talk to her and I was like, yeah, that hurt my feelings essentially.
Oh,
And that's not okay to
gosh.
have these
Yeah.
expectations of, what I should look like after doing some miraculous thing of giving birth to another human, like our
Right.
body's gonna is gonna take some time to heal and get back to its normal state.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be shamed for that. Like a woman should never be shamed for that at
No,
all.
it's a
No.
beautiful thing. It's a beautiful transformation. Um,
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Well, you
So,
look beautiful and fantastic to me. So,
why, thank you. I
and you're
wasn't fishing for
such,
compliments,
yeah,
but thank you.
well, I'm gonna give you some, and you're
Yay.
an awesome mom. So, and I think that's the thing. It's like post like birth, it's like your body's trying to like breastfeed and do all these things, and you're just trying to like adjust to being a mom. So the last thing you need is somebody to be like, here, wear this. And it's like, no,
Yeah,
please,
no.
no.
And I did not wear it.
Oh,
It was just hanging on a I just left it. But yeah, stuff like that. And just like you said, at family gatherings, it's that typical, like, there's so much food. You need to eat, 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 eat.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
also, oh, you gained some weight. You know, it's just like, okay, well, now I don't want to eat in front of you because
Right. Oh,
that shame that's added,
yeah.
it's like a trick. I don't know. It
Yeah,
doesn't feel good. And it's so toxic because
it is.
it's not just our family. I know this for a fact.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it's a
No.
lot of other Filipino families.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, like, when you were growing up in terms of like body type, um, what your parents thought was like the ideal body type, like other than just being skinny. So like, because I started lifting weights recently, my mom's like, oh, don't get too muscular. That's like, that's not how a woman is supposed to look. And I'm like,
Mm,
what? And so
mm.
like there's all these like things of, so when I was younger, it was like you had to be really skinny, no muscle. Like I used to have really muscular legs, and I still do. Like that's actually, my legs are really strong because I was a ballet dancer for a little bit. And so I always had like big muscular calves. And my mom was always like, oh yeah, like that's not a good look. Like a woman's legs should be like nice and smooth and straight and no muscle. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like I have to
no.
like, so I
And
don't know if you guys had a little bit of that because I know you played sports and you're pretty like fit like and muscular too because you played basketball. So I was
yeah,
curious what your parents thought of that. Like,
yeah, no. For being in athletics and whatnot, it wasn't actually what we looked like.
mm,
It was most during that time, at least, and you know, it was great. I joined a sport, and I think I needed that for, you know, just to make it look good for college and stuff like that. But I only did it for one season because of my grades. They're like, you know, this is taking too much time away from your studying, you know, so you
mm,
need to kind of pick one or the other, and we prefer you to choose study because you need a good education, da da da. And they
mhm,
saw basketball, which is what I loved to do. That was like my favorite sport to play, you know, all through elementary school. And then being able to do it in high school for a season was so much fun. I loved it. But they were kind of right. I like, if I wasn't studying, it was basketball. Like we
mhm,
had we had practices in early in the morning before school, had practice after school, and then I still had to do my homework, and I'm just like exhausted throughout the week. And I think they saw that, and they're like encouraging me, like, oh, next year just don't join basketball. But it is a trait because Filipino legs, we get those calves, right?
yes, we do.
Filipino calves, like,
We
so you
should be
can't take that
proud of it.
away. They're strong,
Yeah,
strong legs.
gotta be proud of it.
I do miss them. I don't, they're not as strong and crazy as it was in my basketball years, but yeah, it wasn't more so pushed, it didn't push us for like a certain look. The look was to remain, you know, thin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Didn't talk about muscle, even though
Yeah.
I did
Thin
like,
and feminine,
yeah,
I guess you could
I did
say.
try and like lift some weights, but they didn't call me out, or at least I don't remember them calling me out for like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to look so bulky.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. For them during that time was like, keep up with your grades
Mm-hmm.
was more
Mm-hmm.
important, but also don't be fat. That was like a secondary or tertiary rule.
Stop feeding me then.
Yeah. The Filipino food, that's so good for you.
Yeah. All that white rice and pork and
The
lechon.
greasy,
Yeah.
yeah, all fried foods, all the
Yeah.
fried.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I think what we learned from this is that, you gotta be you and you have to be grateful for what God gave you. And yeah, some people do plastic surgery or whatever they want to do, and that's on them. But for me, like, hey, I'm trying to be stronger and healthier, and I accept my flaws as something that I see unique to me, and I think that's how we should raise our kids, is just to accept them for who they are and let them express themselves to like a certain extent. So, yeah.
Yeah, not the perception of others and be like, you need to look a certain way or
Mm-hmm.
be a
Yep.
certain thing, or so yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
again, they instill this, and then in adulthood, it all it all crumbles because I'm like, no, I want to be darker. I want to be tan. That was like the thing that my sister and I would do. We're like, we go to the beach and get so brown, and then my mom would be
Yeah.
like, you guys are so dark now. It's so ugly. And I'm like,
Right? Yeah.
having fun in the beach.
And all my friends in Minnesota were white. So it was like when you in the summer, like for summer vacation, like you go to the lake, that's what you do, and you like hang out and they
Yeah.
want to get a tan. And here I
Yeah.
am, like with long sleeves and like trying to hide under a tree because I was afraid to go home and be dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So weird.
So different.
But that bleaching soap is not good for you. That's oh my gosh.
Yeah, no,
I don't even know is it literally bleach? Like I don't even.
I kind of did a little bit of research last night, and I saw like there's some mercury found in it, and overused. If you use this in a long term, it yeah, you can get some
Oh,
health issues from it, just
jeez.
because of your appearance.
My goodness.
So yeah, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely went against their word and just said, I'm just gonna remain brown and proud.
Brown and proud.
Brown and proud.
Love it.
Be
Yeah.
tan.
Yeah. Well, I actually would love to hear from our listeners. I mean, we talked about our experience in the Filipino culture of like the ideal beauty standard. So we'd love to hear from other first generation, like, yeah, DM us on our Instagram page, and we want to hear from you, like your culture, what your culture's, I can't even talk today, what your culture's beauty standard looks like. So
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. I'll also add it on, since this will be video on Spotify, there's a little polling section on Spotify where you
got it.
I'll put a little question there. You could also drop in your answer if there's any. That's one way you could connect with us. Again, our IG is at First Gen Podcast. I'll spell it out and put it here on the screen. But give us a like, follow, subscribe, share this with your friends. Yeah, let's just keep this conversation going.
Absolutely.
I enjoy talking about it. It is refreshing, just like this Sanzo drink
Just
right
like the
here.
Sanzo drink. Yep.
But yeah, would love to hear from you all. And thanks for tuning in this month.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Okay.